Running Back Nation, what is good? Sixers Sickos, what is good? It is trade deadline time. The trade deadline is on Thursday. And I just made a comment the other night that the 76ers haven't been mentioned in a single rumor. Well, we finally got a rumor that the 76ers are actually mentioned in. I don't know if it's true. I'm not saying that. So go ahead in the comment. This ain't even true. This is clickbait. I'm just going to tell you the rumor, and I want you to give me your thoughts on it in the comments, okay? It's from our dude, Brett Siegel. Again, Clutch Points. You know, I don't know if he has actual inside sources or if he's just trying to get his Clutch Points website where he wants it. But either way, he's doing a good job because he's got NBA Central tweeting his quotes, okay? The Philadelphia 76ers are willing to give up a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Brett Siegel says Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers do not want to give up a first-round pick ahead of the trade deadline, but would be willing to do so for a player like DeMar DeRozan if the Chicago Bulls were willing to deal the star. Now, step number one, nobody knows if the Chicago Bulls are willing to deal anybody because the Chicago Bulls are the Chicago Bulls, and they still claim that they are trying to trade Zach LaVine for players that can help them win now, which is stupid and doesn't make any sense. But if they were willing to trade DeMar DeRozan, apparently Brett Siegel has inside sources telling him that Daryl Morey would give up a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Now, step number two in that is what first-round pick are we talking about? The Sixers have the 2026 pick swap, which is the worst of OKC and some other teams. They have a 2028 completely unprotected Oklahoma City Thunder pick in the James Harden trade. That one's very valuable. No, not Oklahoma City Thunder, Clippers. They have the 2028 unprotected Clippers pick out of the James Harden trade, and the Clippers by 2028 could be in full tank mode after Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden are all about 40 years old, right? They have the 2029, their own 2029 first-round pick. Those are the 3 first-round picks they have to trade. So who knows what pick we would be talking about. But I want to talk a little bit about DeMar DeRozan and maybe the fit or the questions about fit that we would have when it comes to the Sixers trading for him. What I always say about DeMar DeRozan when people bring his name up in trade talks or trade rumors for the Sixers is that he's not a volume three-point shooter, you know? And I like him as a bucket getter. He can get hot. He can carry you in the fourth quarter. He does it a lot. The Bulls lose a lot of close games, by the way, too. If you really watch DeMar DeRozan over the course of his career, he is a flat-out scorer, right? But you have to think about the fit with Joel Embiid, and I still just think DeMar DeRozan not being a volume three-point shooter, scoring all of his points in the paint, or close there, the mid-range, isn't the best fit next to Joel Embiid because we can go all the way back to the Al Horford, Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson days when I was screaming that, you know, Joel Embiid commands maybe more space in the paint than any player I've ever seen. So there's that question. Also this. If you're looking at Joel Embiid being out for a significant amount of time and you think that Joel Embiid coming back into the playoffs 100%, coming back into the season with enough time to get ready for the playoffs at 100%, if you think, what am I trying to say? If you think you can get Joel back in time and he's 100% healthy and you think you have a chance at a championship and you think you need a scoring punch to carry you until he comes back, the thought of Tyrese Maxey and DeMar DeRozan without Joel Embiid in the paint is a decent thought as far as just another scorer on the floor. You saw what Maxey did last night. A lot of that is without Joel Embiid in the paint. Maxey could just roam free. They were setting screens at half court for him to just run from half court to the rim, you know? So Maxey and DeRozan on the court together without Joel makes a lot more sense than DeRozan on the floor with Joel Embiid. You also have the combination of Tobias Harris and DeMar DeRozan on the floor together with Joel Embiid. I already think Tobias Harris isn't a great fit next to Joel because he's not a high-volume three-point shooter. So you're adding that dynamic in as well. It's, I think, a gamble giving up a first-round pick for a fit that could end up being questionable. That's probably my opinion on it. Give me your opinion in the comments. And shout out my guy Sean Bernard, starting a little bit of reporter beef here. Don't mean to call out a reporter, but this doesn't add up to me at all. If they are feeling gun-shy about giving picks for DeJounte Murray, I can't see Daryl Morey emptying the clip for DeMar DeRozan. I like DeRozan, but you have to trade Tobias Harris for him to fit here. So, you know, Sean's saying two things here. The Hawks want multiple first-round picks for DeJounte Murray, and it seems like Daryl Morey hasn't even really been in that conversation. It seems like it's the Hawks and Lakers that are in the conversation. So if Daryl doesn't want to give up multiple first-round picks for DeJounte Murray, who is a much better idea as a fit next to Maxey and Embiid than DeMar DeRozan is, why would Daryl Morey go after DeRozan? But Sean says emptying the clip for DeRozan. I don't think you'd have to empty the clip for DeRozan. I think if he's going to be available, it would just take one first-round pick, maybe just that 2026 worst of type of pick swap pick or whatever it is, or heavily protected 2029 or something like that. I don't think you have to empty the clip for DeRozan. Would you have to trade Tobias Harris for him to fit here? A lot of the people in the replies here aren't understanding what Sean is saying. Not true. You have to give up a couple expiring and can move Oubre to the bench. He's not saying you have to trade Tobias to match salaries. He's saying you have to trade Tobias for DeMar DeRozan to fit here because Tobias Harris and DeMar DeRozan on the floor together with Joel Embiid is a spacing nightmare. So I agree with Sean there. It's interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's interesting. Could it be, you know, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry? How would you feel? That's what I'll ask you for your response in the comments. How would you feel if the only move the 76ers make at this trade deadline is giving up a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan and signing Kyle Lowry on the buyout market? Now you have your backup point guard or an additional point guard with Pat Bev and Maxey to handle some of the creation and ball handling responsibilities on the team. And you got another scorer in DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry play together in Toronto, and then they reunite towards both of the ends of their careers in Philly to try to get a championship. Let me know your thoughts. If that's what happens at the trade deadline, would you be happy? Would you be confident? Yeah, I think there's got to be something better than that. Me personally, I think there's got to be something better than that. I don't think you can just sit around and trade a first for DeMar DeRozan and sign Kyle Lowry out of the buyout market, and that's enough, because that'll be enough to get you to the playoffs probably, but I still think that overall I'm questioning the fit of a DeMar DeRozan on the floor with Joel Embiid. That's just my take. You give me yours. I think the Sixers need a backup big and volume three-point shooting. That's what I really, really think they need. And I have an article from Liberty Ballers on potential big men the 76ers should be targeting. Let's check that out. One of the responses I got on Twitter, Morey's building a retirement home, dog. We're cooked. Well, we are talking about a guy that gave 37-year-old PJ Tucker a 3-year, $33 million contract. We are talking about a guy that spent this entire offseason sleeping and signed Mo Bamba at the end of it. So, you know, the confidence in Daryl Morey to do something that makes sense is lessening for me. Brian Toperick, while we await the results of Joel Embiid's MRI, I wrote at Liberty Ballers about the shameful discourse that surrounded him in recent... That's not the article I'm looking for. Hold on. He used the same photo. New at Liberty Ballers, I wrote about a few big men whom the Sixers should target at the trade deadline in the wake of Joel Embiid's knee injury. Let's check it out. 5 bigs the Sixers should pursue at the NBA trade deadline after Joel Embiid's knee injury. We were in the live earlier today, and the only one we could come up with was Andre Drummond, right? Bigs that could be available as trade partners. Hey, Andre Drummond, Chicago Bulls. Who wouldn't love a reunion with an old friend? Drummond played only 49 games with the Sixers. There's all his stats. At this stage of his career, the 30-year-old won't provide much offensively outside of a few feet from the basket, but he remains one of the league's most prolific rebounders on a per-minute basis. Well, he's never really offered anything outside of a few feet from the basket. It has nothing to do with his age. He's always been like that. But yeah, so Andre Drummond, number one. It depends if the Bulls do the right thing and blow it up. Kelly Olynyk from the Utah Jazz. Kelly Olynyk has been a name that's been thrown out there for a couple years now. I don't know, man. He's been tossed around the league. Is he really worth trading for? I don't know what you could get for him. I don't know if the Jazz are going to trade him. He can stretch the floor. He can rebound a little bit. Here he was against the Sixers. He had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. I don't know. I don't know about Kelly Olynyk. Who else we got? Mike Muscala. So we were right in the live. There's only one backup big the Sixers can even think about trading for, and it's Andre Drummond. Because if you're writing an article and typing out the name Mike Muscala, what are we really doing here? Not reading that. Nick Richards, Charlotte Hornets. Now we're entering the sicko portion of the trade target list, as if Mike Muscala wasn't the sicko portion. Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports reported Friday that Richards is receiving quite a bit of interest from the rival teams. I got to be honest with you, I have no idea who Nick Richards is. Washington is the first year, along with P.J. Washington. Richards in the first year of a 3-year contract. Richards is more in the Drummond mold offensively than Olynyk Muscala, so he can't shoot. Is he a rebounder? Richards isn't as prolific on the glass as Drummond, but he's in the 67th percentile amongst all bigs league-wide defensive rebounding rate. I don't know. Xavier Tillman, don't know who that is either. Apologize for that. Richards wasn't the only big man who Fisher mentioned. He said Tillman has generated a wealth of interest from playoff teams as well. What are you going to tell me about Tillman here? They made a move on Thursday. Victor Oladipo. Okay, that's nothing about Tillman. Tillman's on a $1.9 million expiring contract set to become an unrestricted free agent. 1.9, isn't that a league minimum? With Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., so the Grizzlies could trade him. Tillman is shooting a career worst 40% from the field this season and only averaging 6 points and 4 rebounds in 20. Come on, bro. What are you going to trade for Tillman for? Dude's averaging 6 and 4 on 40% from the field. That's no worse than Paul Reed. That's probably not even worse than Mo Bamba, bro. Okay, so the answer is Andre Drummond. And this is an entirely made-up article. And good job, Liberty Ballers. You got me to click on it. But yeah, there's my take, man. This is the last damn video I'm making today, unless some kind of crazy news happens. All right? I love you guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tune in, I don't know, tomorrow sometime. See ya.